Hi, my name is Carl Pearson, and in this video I'm going to talk about the single reform that's needed to cure or substantially cure all or most of the curable problems faced by the United States, including the failing economy, increased unemployment rate, poor schools, inadequate health care system, mortgage foreclosure rate, trillions of dollars of pork, other waste with bailout and stimulus money, excessive taxes, declining opportunity, eroding middle class, and loss of constitutional rights. This is needed, this reform, this one single reform is needed in order to restore the checks and balances that our country and its Constitution require and rely upon to be able to do the best job for voters and the people living in this country and small businesses. We've lost the checks and balances because of the way that campaigns are financed, and the cost is about $4 billion every presidential election and about $1 billion every year for the other elections, for a total, it's $2 billion for the presidential election every 4 years and $1 billion a year on the average for all other elections, federal and state, and that brings it up to about $6 billion a year, every 4 years. $6 billion every 4 years. So the dynamics of this are that when you have the rich corporations financing our elections, it reduces, it means that the country will not be able to enforce its antitrust laws because the people who are elected want to be reelected, they need the money, and therefore they don't enact reforms that are needed, they don't see that the laws are being enforced, and the country goes amok and awry, and we have economic difficulty because the statutes that we have in place that are totally adequate to deal with the problem are not being enforced. And this is because of the way that campaigns are financed. It results in a failing economy, an increasing unemployment rate, poor schools, an inadequate health care system, a high mortgage foreclosure rate, trillions of dollars in pork bailout and stimulus money that's wasted, excessive taxes and fines, declining opportunity, and small businesses going out, not being able to compete, an erosion of the middle class, and a loss of constitutional rights, all because we have lost the checks and balances that the Constitution wants and demands, and they're not there any longer. If, however, campaign financing were done publicly, you would have enforcement of the nation's laws protecting voters and their small businesses, eliminating monopolies and helping small businesses grow the economy. Unemployment rate would decline with millions of new jobs through honest government. Schools would become better through competition. The inadequate health care system would be changed into one that is suitable for voters. Mortgage foreclosure rate would decline when people are put to work once again with meaningful, well-paying jobs. Trillions of dollars in pork bailout and stimulus monies wasted would be diverted to appropriate uses, including tax reduction. Excessive taxes and fines would be reduced. Opportunity would be increased by congressional attention to voter needs. Middle class would become strengthened, and the loss of constitutional rights of the people would be restored. Interestingly, the cost of doing this is only 10% of the $6 billion every 4 years. Most of the money that's used in running an election campaign is spent for the broadcast media or cable, meaning television, radio, cable. But each of those is either using government airwaves, people's airwaves, or is licensed by the people through a contract with a cable provider giving them a monopoly. You could require each of those licensed media to provide a specified amount of time to each candidate according to a fair formula so that there wouldn't be any cost of advertising. The email could be, the election agencies could get the email address for every registered voter if they have an address and provide only to candidates a specified number of uses for the campaign, so that you can even reach almost every voter by email at no cost, with, say, 6 mailings for each campaign. The post office could be required through a franking privilege to give each candidate a specified dollar amount of postal services. What is left, such as campaign employees working on payroll, telephone banks to call people and get out the vote, travel expenses, and other campaign expenses, would probably be reduced to about 10% of the $6 billion cost every 4 years, or a total of only $600 billion, which is $150 million a year. Compare that with the trillions of dollars of loss that we are now undergoing as a bottomless pit. We don't know how many trillions of dollars we are going to lose because we did not spend $150 million each year in what is obvious that should be done. My name is Carl Pearson. I have discussed most of these concerns in other YouTube videos and in several websites, particularly lawmall.com and electionissues.com, and here are the addresses.